All right,
We
welcome
live, we
everybody.
live.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Yang Gang Fitness Talks. Today I'm
Yeah.
joined with Josh Wilcox. What's up, Josh?
What's
Dr.
happening, my
J.
brother?
Not much, just enjoying the night. Got a lot of stuff done today and starting to settle down.
That's good, man. Happy Sunday, man. Happy
Oh,
Sunday.
yeah.
First day of the new week, almost the new month.
Yeah, Sunday fun day too.
Yes, sir.
Do you get outside and enjoy some rays?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm not I'm almost a homebody. Like I don't want to put that title on myself, but I kind of almost am, man. Like if I'm not in the gym or actually like taking a trip with my family out of town, I'm pretty much home, man.
Oh, wow.
I try to stay away from. I mean, especially in the atmosphere we're in right now with COVID, man.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from huge crowds. Not that I like crowds too much to begin with, but but if I can't do like this in a crowd, it's like we're too close, man. We're too. So I was adhering to COVID guidelines before COVID was even a thing, or before COVID-19 was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife's like that. I'm all
Yeah,
about crowds. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. I like to be able to have my space, man. So
oh.
so the 6 feet right now is great.
Just kind of baked into your personality, huh?
It
Nice.
is totally 100%.
Cool. Well, why don't you take the floor and take us on your
Sure.
fitness journey that you've had throughout your life?
Yeah. So interesting enough, I have I'm the youngest of six siblings. My oldest brother was born on the same day as me, 22 years apart. Right, 22 years apart, and I spent a lot of time at his house growing up, and he always had like some fitness equipment in his basement. He would be training to like crisscross and high five and like all these old school groups, right? So that was kind of my first uh introduction, I guess, if you will, to fitness. But I didn't really adhere to that. Like I would just be like interested in watching them, right? Like I'm like 5, 6 years old. I can't really even join in anything, but they were like very much so athletes and into everything. And I would just watch them and see what they were doing. And it looked like fun, but it kind of wasn't really what I was into at the time.
Hmm.
And fast forward some years, growing up, I really there was really no limit on food in my household, man. Like my family, my my mother, my mother was the third youngest of like 13 kids. My dad was the oldest of six kids, and their family is like deep South black family, right? Like if you know anything about deep Southern families, there's like a heritage in cooking and in food and
Hmm.
making sure everybody's fed and making sure that everybody's full, right? So that was really the atmosphere I grew up in. Contrary to what I do now. And man, at 6, 7 years old, like I was able to eat how much food I wanted to, and it was good food though. It was good food. So it was the mac and cheese, it was the collard greens, it was the fried chicken, it was
Yeah.
the yams, it was the potato salad, it was all of the things that I kind of shy away from now, but that at that time it was good. So my parents didn't really have a limit, man, on what I ate, and I was the youngest, so I got away with a lot, man, and I was just able to eat whatever I wanted to. So I just really remember a lot of my childhood, man, just being like kind of a bigger kid,
Hmm.
just really being. Every time I went to the doctor for a checkup or something, they would say, Josh needs to lose a couple pounds. Josh needs to do this, and if you grew up in a black family like I did, we don't really listen to the doctors. We just like kind of brush it off our shoulders. Um, so, I just really ate whatever I wanted to, man. And that just kind of was instilled in me at a young age.
Hmm.
And and funny enough, when me and my brothers hit adolescenthood, we would eat so much, man. We would eat so much, right? That my father actually put a lock on the fridge, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yo. believe it or not, man, my father put a chain like on the fridge like this. My father put a chain on it, and he put a
Oh wow.
padlock on it because we would eat so much. We would eat so much. It was crazy. It was crazy. And looking back on it, it's like, man, wow. Like, yeah, maybe it was more so not to take anything away from my parents, but maybe it was more so the parenting and not having the knowledge on like what we should be feeding our kids that
Hmm.
necessarily played a huge role in at least my being overweight for most of my childhood and most of my um, adolescenthood.
Yeah.
So I didn't really consider working out. I didn't really like gym, like gym classes in school. I didn't really like. I just wanted to. I really love food, like, and that just really like. I love
Yeah.
as everybody does. Everybody loves
Oh
food,
yeah.
and I can attribute that to the way that I grew up, like in my parents in the household that I grew up in, and you know, all of that food tastes good, tastes amazing, but when you know better, you're supposed to do better, right? And it wasn't until what a lot of people don't know about me was that I was incarcerated when I was 17 years old for a year and a half. I
Mm.
and growing up in urban America, there's a lot of negative influences that folks face, and you can either choose to go with those negative influences or have the willpower enough to go in a different direction. At that time, I didn't have the willpower enough to go in a different direction, man. So I kind of just fell into the flow of things, and that ended me up being incarcerated. And I just remember while I was incarcerated, man, I was probably like the youngest person. I was 17 years old. I was like the youngest person in my dorm. I was in a medium facility prison, not a maximum facility prison.
Mm.
And I just remember, man, one guy like that was a little older, just like always calling me the chubby boy, always calling me the fat kid, right? And that just
Oh.
kind of like hit home for me, man. Like, yo, maybe I should go out into the prison yard and lift some weights.
Mm.
So my very first experience with ever lifting weights or ever doing anything came from prison. That's kind of cliche, and that's kind of like what a lot of people attribute lifting weights to, right? It's like, yo, people go to prison, they come out and they big and they're buff and everything. But
Hmm.
little did I know though that would really like change my life. So, 6 months into the prison term that I was serving, I actually started really taking working out and lifting weights and stuff serious. And March 19th, 2012, I was released from prison. I went and I grabbed a gym membership, and I stayed consistent with it up until some things happened with this girl that I was dating at the time. Fell into depression, fell into low
Mm.
self-esteem and everything, and I really just shied away from it and kind of just had to find myself. And come December 2014, I'm like, man, you're about to get ready to graduate from a community college. No one really expected this of you, being someone that got released from prison. What can you really do to kind of sharpen your craft? What can you do to really kind of sharpen who you are as an individual? Uh, and I said, you know what? For my New Year's resolution 2015, I'm going to dedicate myself to at least 3 days a week working out. I'm going to not eat fast food. I'm going to not drink any soda. I'm going to not have any juice. And actually, let me backtrack a bit.
Hmm.
That summer 2014, I took a nutrition class. I took nutrition 112 with Kathleen Gleason. I salute her every day, man, because she really just changed my life, man.
That's
And
awesome.
up until that point, I knew about working out. I knew that working out was like essential to health, but I never really knew how food affected our bodies. So once in that class, I was able to, or was required to, do a nutrition journal or a dietary journal for 3 days. And when I was tracking the food that I was eating, I'm like, dang, I had this smoked colada for breakfast. I had this breakfast sandwich, and then 2 hours later, I had this food from the student union, and it just really just put into perspective the food that I was eating, and I kind of compared that to what I learned in that class at the time, and I'm like, man, I got to make a change. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but change isn't overnight. So fast forward, this was August 2014. I finished that class. Fast forward to New Year's 2014, going into 2015, I made a New Year's resolution, and I was going to really take my health and my wellness serious. And in doing that, as I said moments ago, I was going to cut out all of the processed foods. I didn't really know what to eat. I mean, I knew what to eat based on the class that I had, or the class that I took and what I learned.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know how to measure my food, how to, read nutrition labels or anything like that. But I said, no matter what happens, I'm going to train 3 times a week, and I'm going to eliminate these foods from my lifestyle. And in 2015, that's what I did, man. I hit the ground running. I began training in my school's facilities 3 times a week. I began eating foods. I was overeating still, right? But it was good foods though. So I wasn't having the
Right.
excess calories from soda, the excess calories from sugary beverages. I wasn't putting any fast food in my body. So the weight just began to fall off. And at that time, I ran to uh, good brothers in the calisthenic community, because when you break down fitness, right, there's different categories of fitness. You got your runners, right? You got your calisthenics people that practice just body weight. You got your bodybuilders, and then you got your
Mm-hmm.
athletes. There's like different categories in fitness, and I had seen these guys training with their body weight. I posted a video actually not too long ago,
Yeah.
detailing a couple things about calisthenics. And I just started to roll with those guys, and I just started to kind of gravitate from training in just the gym and actually train in parks and use my own body weight and do things like that. And I did that for 2 years, man. And at my very lightest weight, I was 188 pounds, and I was pulling myself over the bar. I was doing muscle ups. I was able to do 10 sets of 10. 10 sets of 10, if you don't know, that's 10 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 10 dips, right? So you're doing 30
Oh,
reps
nice.
per set. And that was my warm-up before I touched any weight. My
Wow.
warm-up before I touched any weight in 2015. And that didn't happen overnight. Like, I had to work up to it, of course, right? But
Yeah.
from 2016, 2017, I'm doing that with ease. Um, and just as I began to expand on my fitness journey, that just opened up a world of opportunity in the nutrition world and the public health world, because you can train as hard as you want to, but you can't out train what you put on your fork, right?
Right.
So in taking the classes that I was taking, I was able to apply that to the training that I was doing, thus me actually reaping benefits from not only training 3, 4, 5 times a week now, but also the nutrition that I'm putting in my body. And that just opened up a whole world of opportunities. I was in school initially to become a dietitian, but I didn't fare well in chemistry, or
Mm.
specifically organic chemistry. So I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
fare well in organic chemistry. So that led me to chatting with my academic advisor at the time. And she said, you know what, with your skills and your capabilities, you should major in public health,
Nice.
because within public health, there's all of these umbrellas. You talk about how you got into fitness, because of the bid or the prison term that you did. But did you know that diet-related diseases, specifically type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and all of these things affect Black folks proportionately than it affects your white counterparts? And I started to
Hmm.
think, like, wow, like, you know, a lot of people that I know are overweight. A lot of people I know are struggling to really get into a lifestyle that can benefit them, benefit their health. So I'm like, sure, why not? Let's switch to public health, and that just opened up a whole different world in terms of not just focusing or dialing in on fitness or nutrition, but also diet-related diseases. How can we create programs that can educate other people to want to care more about their health like you did? Now, mind you, it's a tough task. It's a tough task to get people to care about what they eat, but I was up for it. And as I just moved through these courses in college, I just started to really come into myself and really come into the person that you guys see today, the person that can, motivate and other individuals to want to take better care of themselves, right? The person that can
Yeah.
come on an interview and talk passionately, purposely, and fluently about himself, in hopes that that would inspire someone else to want to embark on their own fitness journey. Um, so
Yeah.
that's what I did, man. And May 2017, I graduated, with my bachelor's degree in public health. And let me just stop really quick. Understand, you took a kid from the city, urban America, right? That was
Yeah.
heavily involved in a lot of things that was going on in his neighborhood. He then went to prison. He then came out of prison, went to college, changed his lifestyle, applied what he wanted to do in his community to his studies, graduated, and then is now influencing others to walk out their purpose, right? That's a
Yeah.
powerful thing in itself. And that's not me bigging myself up. That's just me knowing that where I come from, it's hard to do those things. But
Oh yeah.
nonetheless, I graduated in 2017, and I just continued on my fitness journey. And I ran into a friend of mine that was a bodybuilder. Not necessarily a friend of mine, he was a friend of a friend that was a bodybuilder. And I started training with him. He was saying, yo, if you really want to take bodybuilding serious, you got to like bulk up some. And I'm like, all right, bulk up some. He didn't really give me any information about what bulking up means or what bulking up is. Right?
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I can eat whatever I want to eat and just hit the gym, and that's it. Like, my prior nutrition training just went out the window. Because like I
Yeah.
said earlier, I didn't really know how to measure food. I didn't really know how to adhere to serving sizes. I didn't really know those things. So 2018, 2019, I just was like wanting to put on size and wanting to get up to a lot of muscle and a lot of everything. And that just kind of led to me actually gaining a lot of weight, man, and
Mm.
a lot of habits that I thought that I had taken care of, but that I didn't. So
Yeah.
2019, I was taking some pictures that summer, and I'm looking at myself like, yo, you like kind of like you backtracked a lot. Like, you got a lot, put on a lot of weight. Like, you almost 245 pounds.
Oh wow.
Um, and that it just didn't sit right with me. I wasn't able to do pull-ups like I wanted to anymore. I wasn't able to get over the bar like I wanted to anymore. My energy levels was down. I stopped training at 4:35 a.m. like I normally would do and started training in the evenings. And just my whole thing was just out of whack. And I was like, if I'm going to actually do bodybuilding, I got to take it serious like I did in the beginning. So I
Hmm.
went and I reached out, shout out to John Claude Jr. And John Claude Sr. I went and I talked to one of my best friends' father, who has been in bodybuilding for 40 years. And he kept it straight up with me, like, yo, you let yourself go, man. But, here's the nutrition plan. You got the background to know what you need to be doing. Here's what you got. Here's the nutrition plan. Make it work. So in January of this year, I made it my New Year's resolution from this December 2019, January 2020. I made it my New Year's resolution 4 or 5 years later, right? That I was gonna take bodybuilding seriously, and I just started diving back in because sometimes we can
Nice.
get complacent and we can think
Hmm.
that we know everything and we really don't know jack shit, right? Excuse my French. And I just began to dive more into nutrition, documentaries, and peer-reviewed journals and articles and things of that nature. And I applied what he gave me to my life, and I put the work in. I began getting back up at 4:30 a.m., 5 o'clock a.m. I began changing the things that I would eat. I thought that because I was skinny in 2017, 2018, that I could eat a whole tub of ice cream and it ain't gonna affect me, right? I thought that I could eat 4 or 5 servings of whatever it was, and that wouldn't affect me because I'm burning it off in the gym. But as I
Yeah.
said earlier, you can't out train a bad fort. So
Mhm.
I began to really take my health back serious, and not saying, oh, okay, I'm invincible to the tub of ice cream that I want to eat. Right? And just like I was able to transform my body in 2015, 2016, I was able to transform my body in 2020. Um, and luckily, between 2019 and 2020, I learned about Andrew Yang. The very first presidential candidate that I was ever passionate about, the very first
Yeah.
presidential candidate that I ever donated money to, the
Yep.
very first presidential candidate that I ever tuned into the debates, even though he got a short amount of time. The very first candidate that I ever tuned into just to hear him speak. And that kind of just like led me to be on Twitter more because I wanted to be part of the Yang Gang, man. But
Right.
fast forward to May 2020, I seen Yang Gang Fitness. I don't know exactly when it started, but I
That's
made
about
a
right.
hashtag one day, and it just got super. It wasn't a lot of people. It was like maybe 60 or 70. But to my Twitter feed, like that's a lot of people. It's like, wait, there's not just the Yang Gang, but there's a community of people in the Yang Gang that want to take fitness serious. And if you look deeper into it, it's because of COVID, and
Mhm.
it really was made to get that we're in quarantine to be more active so that they're not gaining these quarantine pounds. But I used
Yeah.
that hashtag, and it just opened up a whole world of individuals, man, that I appreciate y'all to this day, man, because I know what I'm capable of. I know that I can talk good, and I know that I'm a very motivational person. Um, but to be able to have that type of following, or to hear people say like, "Yo, you inspired me on my fitness journey," your posts, make me kind of like look at myself and be like, "Yo, I need to do better." That's power. That's powerful, man.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of what brought me to where we are today, man. And a
That's
special shout
awesome.
out to all the people in Yang Gang Fitness, man, that is wanting to improve themselves and make their lives better through fitness, man. Because the very thing that's most important in your life is your health and your wellness, man. And
Oh yeah.
if you're not in good health, you can't do anything. If you're not in good health, you can't be a good father. You can't be a good teacher. You can't be a good student. You can't be a good anything if you're not in good health. So your health should be number one.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of forgot about that in 2018 and 2019. Man. You guys really helped me remember that, man. And it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to
Yes.
be here sharing just a little bit about myself to you all, man, and being able to just inspire others to embark on their fitness journey is really powerful.
Yeah. Your story is really powerful.
Oh,
Uh,
thanks, man.
yeah. I made a couple notes on it actually, but
Yeah.
the part about growing up with siblings and watching them, the older kids play, I had a relatable story to that where I tried to play football with my older brothers and I got full on tackled and like I felt like I almost got knocked out and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with the older kids. I'm gonna go back to
Yeah. I'm gonna go play with the younger kids now. Y'all showed me that I can't hang.
yeah. That's so cool though. Is that's a crazy journey. I think I saw when you started posting early on that you were looking forward to doing a show. Were you
Yeah,
prepping for a
bodybuilding
show?
show, yes sir. Yes,
That's
sir. So,
awesome.
so due to COVID, man, things have gotten pushed back. Initially, when I first posted in Yang Gang Fitness, I was supposed to compete May 2nd.
Uh,
COVID happened. That show got pushed back to October 31st. But my mind was made up. Like, I've always been disciplined, but I've never been disciplined to the point to where I am now, where I have this goal and I'm not gonna do anything else until I reach that goal. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna partake in an off season. I'm not gonna partake in any consistent indulgence of anything that's not good for me until I reach this goal, right? So then my show was supposed to be August 22nd here in my hometown of Rochester, New York. Found out 3 weeks before that show got canceled.
mm,
Then there was supposed to be a show September 19th in Syracuse, which is the most
oh
recent one.
nice.
And then I just found out 2 days ago that got pushed back to October 17th. So I don't know when I'm going to compete. It's looking like October 31st in Albany,
Yeah,
as it initially was supposed to be May 2nd. That's what it's supposed to be, but I'm not having my fingers crossed on that. We'll see. But I learned a lot about myself though this year, man, and I learned a lot about my mind, my discipline, and my willpower. And a lot of people saying just throw 2020 away. It's like, nah, those goals you still have for 2020, we still got 2020 vision. Like,
yeah.
so long as you got breath in your body, so long as you got breath in your body, so long as you can have the use of all of your limbs, we still in 2020 vision. And that's where I'm at. Like, if the show is on October 31st,
You're
I'm gonna
there.
be ready for it. If the
Yeah,
show is on October 17th, I'm gonna be ready for it. It just sucks because you gotta prep a little bit differently 3 weeks away from a show than 8 weeks away from a show. You gotta prep a little differently 8 weeks away from a show than 12 weeks away from the show. So that can fluctuate slightly, but I'm still in 2020 vision. I'm still path forward, seeing things out my peripherals, but I'm still looking forward to everything that 2020 still has to offer.
that's awesome. Cool.
Yes, sir.
Shaz was posting that she read about your Operation Backpack, which is part of one of our community questions.
Yeah,
Uh, so why don't you tell us a little bit about that effort you got going on that you're working
yeah.
with?
So in my personal life, as I said prior, I majored in public health in school. Specifically, what I wanted to do within my community is change the scope of how people eat and change the scope of how people look at food. That led me to working at FoodLink as a nutritionist and nutrition educator, where I go out into the community and I teach people about a lesson, whether that be about whole grains versus refined grains or sugar or salt or any of those things.
Hmm.
And after I teach about that for 20 minutes, I then actually prepare a recipe showing folks how to prepare a low sugar or low salt sodium meal. Kind of was a cap on the ceiling for that led me to working on making nutrition facts labels and nutrition facts panels, as you see behind me,
Nice.
for a Fortune 100 company at corporate. But corporate wasn't really where I wanted to be at, and that led me back to FoodLink. So FoodLink's mission is to leverage the power of food to end hunger. And we do that in a number of ways. We work for it's a not-for-profit. It's a 501c3. So all of the funds coming in is from donations, it's from grants. It's a lot of federal funding. And one of the programs, I guess, for lack of a better word, is Operation Backpack. That is a program where we work with Wegmans, which is a Fortune 100 company, and people can round up on their grocery purchases. I may be explaining this wrong. Forgive me for those who see it, but you can round up on your grocery purchases to 5 cents, 10 cents, $1, $5, $10 to proceeds that will go to Operation Backpack. And what Operation Backpack is we know that kids are getting food, breakfast and lunch at least, Monday through Friday. But what happens in food insecure homes Saturday and Sunday?
Right.
You don't have to worry about breakfast and lunch Monday through Friday because your kids are in school. But with COVID, kids ain't been in school, so kids haven't been getting breakfast and lunch. But the initial program was to provide households with food to be able to take home for the weekend so that the kids can eat. So what Operation Backpack does is we gather together grains, protein, fruits, and vegetables, and sometimes dairy. It's usually always milk if it's a dairy item. And we send home enough food to eligible applicants so that their family can feed their household on the weekend.
That's awesome.
It is.
Very cool.
It is, and it is.
Does it go, is it enough food so it's not just food for the kid, it's for the whole family? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's food. To my knowledge, it's food just for the kid. But if the parent let it be known on the application that they need food for the household, then we provide a separate service to them so that the family is fed, not just the kid or the kids, plural.
That's very cool.
It is indeed. And all of our Operation Backpack programs follow, which I'm an opponent of, but it's a conversation for a different day. all of our meals follow the USDA dietary guidelines. So my plate consists of grains, protein, fruits, vegetables, and dairy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another question from the community comes about saying, what routines and diets do you recommend for women who are trying to build muscle?
That's interesting, man. Especially in the terms of, not to go too political, but biologically, women have different needs than what men have. Men require typically a little bit more of certain nutrients than what women require. But what I would recommend, though, is that you start with, as much as I'm a opponent of it, I would recommend that you at least start with the dietary guidelines. Because if you start with the dietary guidelines and you see that it's working for you, or if it's not working for you, it's my hopes that will lead you to do more research. And the more research that you do, you will begin to find things, or I don't want to say things, you will begin to find different lifestyles that you can apply to yourself. And when you begin to apply different lifestyles to yourself, you see what works for you and what doesn't. So if you want to get started just using my plate and making sure that a quarter of your plate is grains, a quarter of your plate is protein, and half of your plate is fruits or vegetables, whatever that may be, that's a great starting point. But understand that that's not the ceiling. Like that's just the floor, right? Like that's just the floor. There's so many things that you can pile on top of that. But that would be an amazing place to just start. And also removing added sugars, removing refined grains from your diet is critical, and paying attention to serving size. And also not being scared of lifting some weights. Like women, you are not, unless you're taking, I'm a bodybuilder, right? Like I'm an amateur bodybuilder. I conversate with other people in the bodybuilding community a lot. Unless you're taking a certain type of anabolic steroid, you are not going to look manly if you lift some heavy weight. If anything, you're going to burn some calories, you're going to add some definition, and you're going to add some great gains to your body by following those guidelines, but also lifting some weights.
Yeah, that's all good advice for sure.
Yeah.
How does your current physique make you feel? As in, what do you love most about feeling that way? And how do you track your progress with your before and after pictures to see how
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
meeting those goals?
I seen that picture, that picture, but that question actually get posted. I'm actually very, very happy with my current physique. However, complacency kills. So the moment you become complacent, you do yourself a disservice.
Oh yeah.
So I'm always working to be better. But if I could put my happiness with my physique on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably at an 8, strong 9. Because I don't know if you guys seen before or after pictures that I posted, but I'm definitely not the same that I was 3 months ago, 6 months ago, or even a year ago. And
Mm,
that makes me happy with myself. But I know that I can always be better. So every day I wake up, I strive to be just a little bit better today than I was yesterday. And if I'm striving to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday, then I'm eating correctly and I'm training correctly, then my physique's gonna follow.
that's awesome. Yeah, you just gotta keep it up, basically.
And then
Shaz.
and then how do I
Mm,
track my workouts?
yeah.
Interesting enough, people tend to go to the gym and don't have a plan, and that is doing yourself another disservice. Go to the gym and know what muscle group you're going to train. If you want to train legs that day, I'm an advocate for you to train whatever is going to be training your legs that day, right? Because if you're training your legs for 4 weeks and you notice that you don't have some progress, it's my thought and theoretically that would lead you to looking up, why am I not gaining progress in my legs? And in you looking up, why am I not gaining progress in my legs, that's going to open up a whole world of information for you to take in. And the more information you take in yourself is going to always be better than what you hear someone else say. So I would recommend just starting with going into the gym and saying, I'm going to train my legs today and do 4 exercises for your legs. Me personally, um, I know that genetically I'm gifted with nice biceps. I'm genetically gifted. I'm genetically gifted with nice shoulders. And I'm genetically gifted with nice quads. So I don't need to train those as much as the areas that I need to build up. So when I go into the
Hmm.
gym, if I've already trained shoulders, I get my genetically gifted muscle groups out of the way. So I do quads, shoulders, and biceps maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I spend those next 4 days of the week training the areas that I need to bring up. With
Mm.
gyms opening back up, it's a great thing because now I can train my quads in the morning and I can go and really spend time on my hamstrings in the evening, right? Does
Nice.
that make sense? So uh, I track my progress by how my body's looking. Really, like if I'm looking and my front double bicep is good, but my back double bicep isn't matching my front double bicep, I know that I need to go and I need to put some more work in on my back and on my rear delts.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Sonny was talking about the complacency kills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's that. Yo, he spoke that to me today. Jocko is one of my favorite folks, man. He spoke that today, and that's actually really been on my heart for maybe a week or two. But he spoke that today, and that just led me to know that I'm going in the right direction, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, once you start getting comfortable, you gotta change it up. That's for sure.
Yeah. Never get comfortable, man. If you're comfortable, then you got to change some things up. You got to change some things up because there's a difference between being comfortable in who you are and being comfortable with where you are. If you're
Yeah.
comfortable on who you are, is like, okay, I'm Josh Wilcox, aka Dr. J. I know that I can go in front of some folks and speak. I know who I am as a person, but where I am is a completely different story.
Mhm. Here's an interesting one for you. I don't know if you saw this question, but how has the intensity of your training affected your libido in a positive or negative way?
So you talk about testosterone and all of that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting enough, due to the foundation that I laid for myself when I was training heavily in the world of calisthenics, we train intensely. And likewise, when you're entering into the world of bodybuilding, you're not really training for strength. You're always training for muscle definition, muscle separation, and muscle striations.
Mm,
That comes from intense training. You're not gonna lift for 4 to 5, 6 reps, take a 4 minute break, and then expect to go onto a stage and compete with some of the top people that's in your area and expect to place and expect to win, right?
yeah.
So you gotta always be training with intensity. Um, on the biological side of that, I never really had my testosterone tested. I never really messed around in the world of antibiotics. I've taken fat burners and I've taken um, supplements, but I never really messed around in the world of antibiotics or steroids. So I don't necessarily know where my testosterone levels are at the moment. To be a little bit X-rated, I know that the women in my life haven't said anything about anything, right? Like I can get an erection if I need to. I don't experience any moments of anger, high anger in the day, and low
Nice.
like levels of depression or anything like that. I know that for the most part, I'm pretty much mellow. Like so
Mm,
long as I get my
nice.
morning workout in, like I'm ready to take on the day.
Oh yeah.
So sorry that I can't answer that 100%. When I do my blood work, I never really test for testosterone. When I go to see my primary care physician in October, I plan to, just because I'm a bodybuilder now, right? So I need to know exactly where my testosterone levels are and different things of that nature. But I never really paid too much attention to it to this point. I just know that all of the things that make me a man, I'm still able to do those things 1,000%. So
That's awesome. Yeah, the point you made about working out as long as you work out every morning.
mhm,
I felt that last year because I was working out consistently every morning, 5:30 a.m. in the gym, and then
mhm,
I just stopped because life got crazy, and
right.
I was just so lethargic every day after that. Like it just,
Mhm.
I was messed up.
Yeah, it
Uh,
really sets the tone for the day, man. I tell you, man. And I don't know the correlation between the amount of sleep I get every night, because I pride myself on 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. I don't care what's going on in my life. I'm blessed enough and I'm fortunate enough to have recognized and realized the significance of a healthy sleep schedule at an
mhm,
early age in my life, probably 22, 23, that I was able to make changes and be able to live by those changes to this day. So that really affects like the time that I wake up and everything like that. But I will say, man, that having a workout in the morning, man, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
mhm.
It's not, man. The amount of energy that you have after that, and you might come crashing around 12, 1, 2 o'clock. I'm not gonna lie to you. You might come crashing at 1, 2, 3 o'clock. But if you train at 5 a.m. and you got to be working at 8 a.m., if you have the time to maneuver to get that workout in and to get your breakfast in, bro, you're going to be alert. You're going to be ready to go. You're going to be ready to conquer the day, man. And there's a quote that goes around on the internet, man, that success is not owned, it's rented, and rents due every day. So the
Mm,
feeling, I use that. The feeling that I get from working out in the morning and how it affects my day is only for that day. I gotta get up and do that again tomorrow. I gotta get up and do that again the next day in order to feel like how I felt the day before. So that's really what I pride myself on, and that's really what I do every day, man. My success is waking up, getting to the gym by 5. Everything
Nice.
else after that is just success piled on top of success. My very first success, number one, is waking up in the morning. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
My next success is making it to the gym, being able to work on my body, and then going to a job that I love, and so on and so on throughout the day.
Yeah, you are, Sonny. Get those morning workouts in. Um, that is a big thing. A lot of the books that I've read in the while building my fitness, one of the
Mhm.
big recommendations on making the changes, start with something small like making the bed in the morning, and boom,
Right.
you're a success. You've done something to start off that day right. So
Yes, sir.
that's a great way to stay motivated too.
And success looks different. Like as my brother just said, like success could be you don't usually make the bed in the morning, or you don't usually do the dishes the night before, right? Success doesn't mean like I have all of this money, I have all of these cars, and I have no cares in the world. Success comes in little, tiny microscopes of a different task, and the more you pile up on those things, like the better success rate you have, I guess, for lack of a better word or lack of a better term.
Yeah. Yeah, chat question. Which athletes, if any, inspire you the most?
I'm not even going to say athletes, man. One person, he's not, I guess he's could probably considered an athlete, but he's not really known for his athleticism, man. One person that inspires me the most, though, professionally, I'll break it down. I'll tell you one person that inspires me professionally, one person that inspires me in the athletic world, and one person that inspires me personally. One person that inspires me professionally is Kevin Hart.
Oh,
Man,
nice.
I've watched that guy grow. I went to see Soul Plane in 2005 in the movie theater, right? And thinking back on who that guy was in 2005 and who that guy is in 2020, it's freaking amazing, man. It's freaking
Yeah.
amazing. And to listen to his interviews, whether it's on Joe Rogan, whether it's on the Breakfast Club, wherever it's at, to listen to what he does, he practices a routine, right?
Yeah.
Every successful person that I idolize or I look up to practices a routine. And I, at one point in my life, had to say, like, yo, if I'm gonna be successful, I gotta have a routine. Like, I gotta have a routine. And and
Hmm.
and that guy works very hard, man. And
Yeah,
he's good at he's good at what he does.
he raced Usain Bolt one time. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, man, funny dude. Yeah, man, it's amazing, man. An athlete that really inspires me, man, it's so many. If I had to really pinpoint one, I would say that it's definitely Breon Ansley. He's a classic physique, Mr. Olympia, two-time Mr. Olympia winner. He really knows his craft. He really knows his stuff, and he really gets after it. If you don't know who I'm talking about, you can Google him or look him up on YouTube or um, Instagram. Breon, Breon Ansley, Ansley. Man,
Sounds super familiar.
he's one guy that I really want to beat if I can ever get to that level, right? Like I'm not gonna say he's one guy I aspire to be like, because I don't want to be like him. I want to be better than him. And
Nice.
and his work ethic, man, really just speaks for itself. And humble dude, always in a good mood, always has a good attitude, and man, he just really is a work of art. If you ever see his physique, man, like dude looks incredible. He lost last year, 2019, the Mr. Olympia to Chris Bumstead, but man, the 2 years before that, and even now, man, he's just really inspiring. I'm sorry that that's not an athlete that we deem an appropriate athlete, like an NFL star, an NBA star, or MLB or anything like that. But bodybuilding, technically, it really is a
Yes.
sport. It used to be on ESPN in the '90s up to the early 2000s. But
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
really one athlete.
Schwarzenegger was a big bodybuilder. So
Right. That's really one athlete that I appreciate. And personally, man, one person that I look to, man, is my pastor, man, Pastor Michael Vaughn. Man, he has a tremendous family. He's not one of those people that are just like one way in the public eye and another way in his personal life. Like what you see is what you get. He's a remarkable man. Sent 4 kids through college. 2 of his daughters. One is a
Wow.
doctor in Virginia. The other one's about to be a doctor of pharmacology. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but but man, he's just a tremendous role model and really a impactful individual. And when I talk about purpose and impacting your world through your purpose, I get that from him, man. He's just
That's awesome.
really a remarkable individual in my life.
Very cool. Sounds like an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so how does someone master their own body weight through the calisthenics? Like where's a good starting point and what's that journey like?
Uh, a great starting point is knowing that you can't get anywhere overnight. The the best of the world wasn't built overnight. You look at the 7 wonders of the world, maybe there's 8 or 9 now, I don't know. But you look at all of the great empires, all of the great wonders of the world, all of the things that we idolize kind of visually, right? None of those things was built overnight. And your fitness journey, your calisthenic journey, your bodybuilding journey, your weight loss journey, nothing is going to come overnight. Nothing's going to come in a couple months. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes discipline to get to wherever it is that you want to be. A great starting point, though, is knowing your body. If you can only do 3 clean pull-ups, 5 to 10 clean push-ups, 5 to 10 clean dips, and maybe 20 body squats, start there. You know, start. What's important too is tracking your progress. I
Mhm.
know I don't do that too much, but for some people, writing things down connects with their brain more. And I want to get more into writing things down. I'm not a complete individual. Like I'm still working on myself every day. Like I'm not sitting here talking to you like I'm perfect because I'm far from it. Like there's still a ton of things that I need to improve on. And one of those things is, setting goals for myself and writing things down. But if you want to get started in the calisthenic world, man, find out what your max is on calisthenic workouts. What is your max on pull-ups? What is your max on push-ups? What's your max on dips? What's your max on body squats? Start there. Do that for 4 to 6 weeks. Once you feel like, yo, my max was 5, I feel like I can get 7 good ones, 7 good pull-ups now. Increase to 7 and track your progress and increase your reps by 1, 2, 3. You're at war and competition with no one but yourself.
Wow.
It's not a race, right? So long as you got breath in your body, you're able to do whatever it is that you set out to do. So if you set out to do 10 pull-ups by the end of the year and it takes you 16 weeks, then I don't know, it's four months left in the year. If it takes you 16 weeks to do that, it takes you 16 weeks to do that. If it takes you 10 to do it, it takes you 10 to do it. But you want to
Mhm.
start somewhere, have a floor, never really have a ceiling, but just have an idea of what your ceiling would be and then gradually work towards that. I started out not being able to do 10 sets of 10. If you do the math, if you do 10 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 10 dips, that's 300 reps. That's a lot
Mhm.
for an average person. That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
so so no one is going to come out the gate being able to do that. But that could be not your ceiling, but something that you're working towards. And do that by slowly increasing your reps. If you can only do 10 push ups, do 10 push ups for the next 4 weeks. And after those 4 weeks, you should be able to do about 12 to 15 now, unless you ain't doing something right. But if you start off and you're doing 10 pull ups every day or 10
Yeah.
push ups every day, after 4 weeks, you should be able to increase by at least one.
Mhm.
Start there and then gradually work your way up.
Nice. And then you'll be doing muscle ups by the end of the year.
Yes, if you can do 10 sets of 10 pull-ups, push-ups, and dips, you can do a muscle up. You just got to train your nervous system to get over the bar. Yes, sir.
Oh, nice. Interesting. Okay. So you went over your routine a little bit in the morning, but someone was asking kind of a little bit detailed what you do in the morning, more specifically like your how do you handle breakfast and stuff?
Yeah, I
Like
know.
is it to go or
I've heard a lot of people say that they can't eat in the morning, which is interesting. If you can't eat in the morning, that's fine. Find time in the day that you can eat, because you can probably fast for the first 3 hours, and that's doing your body some benefits too. But my morning routine looks like this. I usually go to sleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock at the very latest. Um, I usually, if my biological clock has been in tune with me for the last 4 or 5 years. That's one thing that I thank God that I came in contact with, and I learned how to master that early, because your biological clock is very important. If you don't know what that is, it's your circadian rhythm. So it's your sleep wake cycle. If you go to sleep at one time, you should be waking up at another time, and so on and so forth. But I've really been in tune with my circadian rhythm for the past 5 to 6 years. So I wake up usually 10 minutes before my alarm goes off. But my alarm is set to 45 minutes before I really have to get up and get situated, right? So if I'm feeling energetic and I'm feeling this day, I get up before my alarm clock. If
Mhm.
I'm feeling kind of lethargic, or not necessarily lethargic, but if I'm feeling like I need to sleep a little bit, I'll wait till the alarm wakes me up. I might let it go off 2 or 3 times, and then I get up. Takes me about 10 minutes to wake up, brush my teeth, take my supplements. My supplements usually in the morning is the fat burner. I apply some cream to my abs. I put on my waist trainer. Um, I take some pre-workout, and I hit the door. That takes like all of 10, 15 minutes. Sorry, ladies. I
Hmm.
know that I know that ladies are different. You got to make sure the hair and everything is all situated. But for me, it takes me about 10, 15 minutes max to get situated in the morning, take my supplements, and get out the door. So usually, let's just say I get up at 4:30. I'm out the door heading to the gym by 4:45, 4:50. I get to the gym by 5. If it's just cardio, it takes me 1 hour. I'm done in the gym by 6. If I'm training a muscle group, I might be done at 6:30. If I'm done
Mm.
at 6:30, I come back home, I shower, get myself situated, make my breakfast right after I shower. I sit down, I eat, I catch up on social media for about 20 to 30 minutes. I catch up on the news, what's going on in the world for about another 30 minutes. Usually by then I'm ready to just like meditate, because I don't got to be at work till 8:30. So you figure I get in at
Oh,
6:30,
nice.
get in at 6:30, takes me 10, 15, 20 minutes to get dressed and ready for the day. Takes me 10 minutes to make breakfast. It's 7 o'clock. I'm done eating by 7:10, 7:15. I then catch up on social media to about 7:30, 7:45. Watch the news for about another 20, 30 minutes. I don't gotta be at work till 8:30. Fortunate enough, my job is 5 minutes up the street. So I got some time to
Nice.
I got some time to meditate. I got some time to sleep if I feel like I want to take a quick nap, 5 minute nap or whatever. And then I'm going on about my day.
That's awesome. That's a
Yeah,
pretty good
I'm
routine.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate, man. Like and mind you, a lot of people don't notice. I got an 11-year-old daughter. She's with
Oh,
me 4 days
nice.
out the week, so I got to make sure she got breakfast. She kind of follows, and this is the thing too. When you do, or when you live your life a certain way, your kids kind of almost mimic that.
Yeah.
In a semi-perfect world, your kids kind of mimic that. So my daughter almost has the same schedule as me, minus the gym in the morning
Yeah.
and different things like that. But it's not easy. I do have a daughter. At one point in time, up until about a month ago, I did work 50 hours, 55 hours a week.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I still made time to train, and I still made time to it's just discipline. At the end of the
Yeah,
day, if working out and getting in shape is important to you, you're gonna do what you need to do to make that happen.
for sure. Yeah. You just gotta put the effort in, right?
Right, absolutely.
Oh yeah, pulling out the recovery
Yeah, I was
supplements.
gonna say I see the next question. is what supplements do I recommend for recovery? Any kind of BCAAs. I like to switch things up because my body catches on to me quick. Let's just put it in the formula. My body catches up. If I try to switch things up, my body really responds to it very quick. So I can really only take certain supplements 2 or 3 days before my body knows what's going on and the gig is up, and then I got to switch it. So I keep a couple different supplements on deck for that purpose. So any kind of amino acids or BCAAs, branch chain amino acids, any kind of branch chain amino acids, man, is good for recovery. On top of sleep, you gotta get a good night's rest, man. Like you can't stay up to 2 a.m., go to sleep, get up at 5 a.m., train, and just expect for your body to really respond well to that. Like you need to get a good night's rest, at least at the very minimum 6 hours, but it's recommended 7 to 9 hours. If you can get 7 to 9 hours, man, really try to train your body to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. There's so many different ways or things you can do out there to kind of really settle your body down and get yourself into sleep mode. One thing that I recently just learned, like maybe a few months ago, is that as your body moves from being woke to sleep, your body drops about 2 to 3 degrees. So the average person is like 97 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that during the day. Your body actually cools when it's time to go to bed. So if you remove your blue screen, so your phone, your television, all of that, right? And you open the window, turn the AC on, and you remove your socks, your hands are free, right? Your hands and your feet usually go cold faster than the rest of your body. So if you remove the blue screen so that your eyes aren't still focused on being awake, and that you allow that coolness to kind of settle into your hands and your feet, you go to sleep faster. I tried that actually. I never had a problem falling asleep, but I did that just to see if it worked. And it works, man. It works. So if you're eating, I'm hearing sleep a lot. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. It's difficult, man. Everything that you try at first is going to be difficult, but the more you practice it, the better you get, you know. And that's one thing that I tell people to try to make the atmosphere that you fall asleep in dark and cool. If it's dark and cool, you might be able to fall asleep faster.
Yeah.
So branch chain amino acids, to wrap it up or to sum up that question, branch chain amino acids, whatever your flavor profile is, and sleep.
Yeah. 2 great things. I love some good BCAs after a hard workout for sure.
Yeah, it's great.
I think one of the last few questions we've had at least submitted was good healthy snacks, because they saw you do the nutritional label stuff, and they're wanting to avoid sugary treats. So like things to keep you moving type of recommendations throughout the day.
I will say that the more I don't want to say deprive because that's such a strong word, but the more you begin to dial in and be focused on what it is that you want to do in terms of fitness and health and wellness, or maybe that's the case with everything, but anything that you want to do, I should say. But the more you begin to dial in and really just have that tunnel vision on what it is that you want to do, you tend to crave things less often. Like, I don't really crave crappy foods. I'll crave carbs. I'm not going to lie. I'll crave carbs, but it doesn't matter what form that comes in. So it could be in the form of chips. It could be in the form of jasmine rice, oatmeal. It can be in the form of these things that are going to like fuel my muscles, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be anything crappy. But for folks that do like sugar, one thing that I will say that I'll do, like I said, I don't crave sugar, but sometimes I treat myself. And if I'm in 8 weeks away from a show, which I have been 3 times now, what I'll do is I'll grab a bunch of ice, put it in the blender, 2 scoops of protein, with some vanilla almond milk or some water, and I kind of make my own ice cream from it. And I put that
nice.
on top of, and you'll see, man, I keep stuff on deck, man. I'll put that on top of drop stuff. But that just means I gotta clean my cabinet out more. But but I'll add in some rice cakes, and then it'll almost be damn. Well, I'm my camera, but I'll make essentially like an ice cream or a frozen yogurt for myself, and then I'll add in some carbs to that in the form of rice cakes, whether that is like a chocolate rice cake or that one is actually a white cheddar. I don't recommend white cheddar for sweet, but like a chocolate or a caramel rice cake, and that really satisfies my craving. If you can't get to that though, there are definitely supplements out there, dietary supplements out there that can help with that craving. There's these guilt-free brownies. I forget who makes them, but I'll post them when I get them again. So you guys remind me of that, man. I'll post those. There's these guilt-free brownies. Tastes just like a brownie, but it has 20 grams of protein, 4 grams of carbohydrates,
wow,
and 2 grams of sugar.
Jeez.
And I tell you, you can indulge in 3 and 4 of these things and still not hit 20 grams of sugar. like there's alternatives out there that are amazing, but you just got to really be dialed in and knowing the goals that you have for yourself and how much are you willing to bend and not break, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't crave sugar, man. I don't. But there's these brownies that's available. There's also I forget. I wish I could remember the name, but if you go into your local GNC or your local vitamin shop, there are definitely alternatives out there to like sugary foods that may have sweeteners in them, artificial sweeteners versus like sugar is another conversation for another day. But I would say you want to be prepared though. You want to be prepared, right? I carry my meals with me. I carry certain things with me. Say you want to adventure out and try a new recipe, right? You can make yourself some low sugar cookies. You can make yourself. Quest actually has a good cookie. To some folks, to some folks they say it tastes like cardboard. Whatever. You know, like I said, if you really want something, you gonna go after it, regardless of what it is, right? But Quest makes a really good cookie and a really good protein bar. But their cookie has maybe 6 grams of added sugar. It has 20 grams of carbohydrates, but it has 13 grams of fiber. So you're really only getting 7 net carbs from eating that.
Nice.
Reading nutrition labels and net carbs and all that, again, is another conversation for another day. But these cookies taste pretty good to me. But I'm also not a picky eater. So I would say just be prepared, man. Try different things. And don't be scared to have, if you craving a cookie, man, and you mess up and you have a cookie, it's okay. Like there's always tomorrow to get back to it. There's always tomorrow to get back to it. Like if you're on a meal plan and you're really craving something and you go and you binge on a whole entire apple pie, you probably shouldn't have binged on that entire apple pie, but you ate it. It was satisfying. It was good. It's whatever. All right, get back to work the next day though.
Yeah.
You know, get back to work. Don't let that be the end all. Like, all right, I had an entire apple pie. That just means I got to go do some more cardio tomorrow, and I got to train a little bit harder. Allow yourself some wiggle room.
That's awesome. You're making Sonny hungry.
Yeah.
I got one last question for you.
Okay.
We have a couple guys in our Spartan group we're mostly bodybuilders, and a couple of them do refeed days. Do you ever partake in a refeed day, like if
I
you're
have.
preparing for the show?
Yeah, I have actually. If you're gonna carb cycle, because that's really what the essence of that is carb cycling, is right. You have a low carb day, you have a medium carb day, and then you kind of have a high carb day, or you just have a low carb week, and then on a Saturday you put glycogen and glucose back into your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. if if you've had a low carb week though, and you made some significant gains, and say you haven't had carbs since Sunday, it's now another Sunday, feel free to indulge, but don't overdo it. you know um, I specifically like to know what I'm eating, and pizza and a lot of these subs and chicken wings, and those things don't come with a nutrition facts panel. It just tells you the calories, right? It don't
Yeah.
tell you it don't break down the micronutrients that's in them, right? So just be careful with that, man, and indulge, because you worked hard for it. Like, you worked hard. Like, nutrition and eating well doesn't have to be, when you're bodybuilding, is definitely has to be a sacrifice. It's like, people who win bodybuilding shows really boils down to who sacrificed and who suffered the most.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like, that's just really what it is. Like, it's suffering. It really is. But when it comes to refeeding, though, I would keep it mostly good carbs. So I would keep it rice, sweet potatoes, pasta. I would keep it to those things that I can, like, count the
Mm-hmm.
nutrients on. But if you're gonna have a large pizza, have a large pizza. Have a large pizza.
Yeah.
Just again, like I said before, just get back to work the next day.
Yep.
Enjoy it, and
Yeah.
but know that if you're competing and the end result is to look better than the next person, that person might not have had a refeed day like you. They might have just
Sure.
had their good. They might have just had their good carbohydrates and not had the
Yeah.
pizza with the saturated fat and everything, right? So it's really just your personal preference, how good you want to look, and how far you're willing to go. But don't don't limit yourself, man.
Yeah.
Definitely have fun with it. Definitely enjoy the food that you like to enjoy. You just don't have a high carb day every day. Don't have a refeed day
Oh
every
yeah. Yeah.
day.
It's a special day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's one more question, if you don't
Body.
mind.
Yeah.
Which do you know your body fat currently,
So I
or?
actually went yesterday, man, and I
Oh,
was
nice.
surprised, man, because I thought I was lower. But because I wasn't where I thought I was, that means there's so much room for improvement, man.
Nice.
So I
Yeah.
posted that picture, I think it was Saturday or Friday or something like that. And I was getting asked, like, what was your body fat percentage? And I actually had it measured, not like to the accurate point of being in like in a water tank or anything like that, but um, just the grasp test, right? Like the skin test. And I was 11%, man. I was
Wow.
11%. I was
How?
11% body fat, right?
Dang.
So
Yeah.
there's so much room for improvement, though, because when people
Right.
step on stage, they're 6 and they're 7% body fat.
Yeah.
Sometimes 5 and under. So it's like,
Yeah.
I was at 11% body fat at 4 weeks out from my show. I'm granted, my diet and would have got a lot harder, actually, because I probably was at the point where I would have cut carbs, and I would have started to deplete water from my body and started drinking
Mm.
distilled water and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I would have got down to 7-8% probably relatively easy. But I was surprised to see that I was at 11%.
Wow. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So you got some work you can do there. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely. And body fat looks different on everyone. My 11% looks a
Yeah.
lot different than somebody. I probably look like some people's 8%. I
Yeah.
don't know. My
True.
11, somebody's 8% might, somebody's 6% might look like my 11%. Everyone's genetics and body makeup is different.
Oh yeah. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
before we go, anything you want to directly say to the Yang Gang Fitness community?
I want to say it's never my intentions to tell people what to eat, man. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to shun people. Though in my mind sometimes, I'll be honest with you, in my mind sometimes I kind of food shame people, but I will never post about that. I will never tell people this is what you should be doing, this is what you shouldn't be doing. I know what my purpose is in life, and all I do is act on what my purpose is. My post may offend some people if I say I wish people wouldn't eat more like this and eat more like that, but that's for you to check, because that's your feelings. Like, I'm not coming at you and saying you need to change this or you need to change that. If I post something that you're eating and you get offended, that's just your conscience setting in, and maybe you should do something a little bit differently. But understand that's not my purpose here, man. My purpose here, man, is to just inspire other individuals to reach their best physique and their best person possible. And I'm never here to shame anyone out loud. I'm never here to shame anyone out loud. I'm never here to tear anyone down, man. I'm positive all the time. The way that I am right now is how I am 40 hours a week at my job, how I am the other however many hours a week with my family, man. I just want people to really take a look at what they're eating and understand how that affects you. Because at the end of the day, man, what you eat really affects the way you respond to things throughout the day. If you had a big carby breakfast, right? Like, you're not going to be able to perform your job the best of your abilities, because those carbs is going to spike your insulin. Your insulin's going to come rushing down. You're going to be tired. You might make a mistake, right? So food really should be nourishing our bodies and not just something that we eat because I'm hungry, right? Like, let me find something that's going to nourish my body. And at the end of the day, it's cliche as hell, but you want to eat so that you can live and not live to get to that next meal. Like, people think cliches are just like brush them off and whatever. It's like, nah, cliches are simple. Cliches are simple because you shouldn't be complicating things that are meant to be simple.
Yeah.
Cliches are there so that you can understand that this doesn't have to be complicated. I'm making it complicated. So yeah, that's really it, man. Watch what you put in your body, man. Look at nutrition facts panels. Engage in at least 150 minutes of exercise every week, man, and do what you need to do for you. Find out what works for you. There's so many lifestyles out there that you can abide to and adhere to, but pick one, see if it works. If it doesn't work, go to the next one. No harm, no foul. Just do what you got to do for you, because at the end of the day, we're all here for a purpose. No one walking around in this earth today is here just to be here, right? There's some people that some people have a philosophy that, what if I am just here to lollygag around and do whatever it is I need to do? Fine, that's more power to you. I believe everyone's here for a purpose and for a reason, and you don't want to let you not having control what you put on your fork take you out of your purpose, take you out of the earth before you can fulfill your purpose. And that's really it, man. And I'm glad that I inspired a lot of you guys, man. And looking forward to continue building and doing things together.
Yeah, only beginning. We're still young.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to echo Sonny and say we love you, man. Thanks for being that inspiration and joining us on this channel, and hope you had fun. I had a blast.
Man,
Loved hearing about it. Yeah,
it's been great, man. You guys had a peek into my kitchen, so you see how serious I take stuff, man. You see I got a poster of the nutrition facts panel in my kitchen, man. You see, I
Yeah.
got my supplements sitting right next to it, man. Like it's like you see, man.
Yeah,
This
it's
is really
serious.
a lifestyle, man. It's really a lifestyle.
Mhm.
Like if you open my cabinets, man, like I'll give you a peek into Dr. J's cabinet, man. Like look at my cabinets, bro. Like I got rice, I got whole grain rice, I got beans, I got legumes. Like it's really a lifestyle, man. Like I don't just talk about it because it sounds good. I talk about it because this is what I do. And
Yeah.
I love it, man. And I've got nothing but good benefits, man, from beginning to take care of myself.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that, and really appreciate it. I hope you have a great night, man.
Man, thank you guys so much, man. It's good to finally see your face, man. I like the
You
beard.
too. Thanks.
You know. Yeah,
Yeah.
take care, brother. I appreciate you, man. Hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, for sure. We got plans. Don't you worry.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Take care.